Hi everybody. See, got my hair pulled back. See my nice gray roots and everything. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to flip the camera back around. There we go. So I lowered the shade in my studio because I want to control the light that's here. And there is my picture wall, painting wall. Okay, so, and then this is the setup that I have going on. So I have a hot light over my canvas, and I have the two lights that Tom photographs with on. So I get a lot, and those are also hot lights. So I get a lot of daylight in to begin with, and this is light I can control. That is light I can't control because of the position of the sun. But occasionally, if it's real sunny, I won't use the backlights and I'll just use the sunlight and the hot light over my easel. So, let's see. That's pretty much that. And you can see my easel or my canvas has nothing on it. When we get over there, we will, oh, I see a little prism there. That's pretty cool. When I get over there, we'll talk about the paints that I've already mixed up. And what paints they are. As you know, I'm using Michael's paints. And what time is it? I got a couple minutes yet. Let's see what else is going on. We're getting the fan in the basement is getting set up. I've written out for those of you who are going to join us, and we're going to be talking about the Blind series a little bit. I've written out the majority of the scenes, and I've made them all on index cards, and now I'm going to be shuffling those around so that I can organize the book together. So we're getting closer and closer, and see what else is going on. Went to the liquor store this morning. You can see there's my desk with everything on it, and we were wearing masks, thank God, because there was a person in there who was coughing and was not wearing a mask. So when I got home, I isopropyl alcoholed everything. Let's talk about this little guy for a minute. So I started this painting a while ago, and I really like where it's going. And of course, all you Soroya fans will recognize that. And I just started this when I had Carolyn in town, Carolyn Anderson in Middletown, for a workshop, and I started painting this, and that is with palette knives and with some of Carolyn's instruction, if you will. So love the colors that I mixed up there. Those were her palette, which was much more extensive than mine, so I'm gonna have to find that, dig that out. And I don't know, I kind of like where it is now, except for a couple things that I want to fix, and I might just call that a study and leave it the way it is. And then of course there's the ocean wave painting that we did together on the web, and my niece's commission. I got a couple more commissions I need to work on for my nieces, and we'll be doing that soon. And then we started Harry together, and that's Harry finished pretty much. I probably will do a little bit here on that side, but basically Harry painting is done. So I like the little guy. So anyway, okay, let's see where we are time-wise. I said I was going to start at 2:30. Okay, yep, it's 2:30. So welcome to the Treehouse Studios. And I said that I was going to paint the painting challenge. So just as a reminder, the painting challenge is out there. It's free. You can do it at any time. There's some deadlines up there, but don't pay attention to it. So these were the two patterns that you could choose from to paint, and I'm going to paint this first video with the pattern on the left. So this guy. Okay? So that's the one that we're going to be using to paint with, and I'll leave it over here on this side so that I can use it as a reference. But basically, if I think about it, I said in the challenge to use your imagination. So I've been sitting here staring at this and trying to compose what I think would make a really interesting painting. Hi, Dick. Hope you're doing well. So basically what I was thinking is, you know, there could be this nice S pattern. If you watch or if you know anything about the composition of outdoor painting, you know that Edgar Payne always had specific compositions that you could choose from. So there's a nice little S pattern of a creek that I could put in here, and these could be some rocks and you know, possibly some trees, bushes or shrubs or something. So what I'm going to do is let you look at that kind of straight on here, if I can do that with my phone. Sorry about the phone being here because my iPad is just not working anymore. So that is what that looks like. So we're going to go over now to my canvas. That's the one I'm going to be using, pattern I'm going to be painting to. And yay, I didn't hit my head this time. So I'm good at doing that for some reason. Let's see. I'm thinking that looks good right there. Let's get him all set up on the easel. So hang on. Sorry for the blurriness and the rotation and all that stuff. Okay. So you're there. Let's do the usual stuff, the usual disclaimer. So I'm just going to be painting. You're going to be looking over my shoulder. I'll be talking a little bit as we go. I've mixed up some paints already to get started with. So you can see all the variation that I got down there. Basically a couple values. I want to try to keep this to 2 values if I can. I probably will end up doing 3, but that's okay. Michael Harding is the paints, very basic palette. Gotta grab one out of the closet here. So very, very basic palette. Very limited is another way of saying it, limited palette. So let's tell you what we've got. We have got Michael Harding's Titanium White 2, number 102, Series 1. Next on my palette, I have Michael Harding Ivory Black, and that is number 129, Series 1. And this is Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue, number 113, Series 1. Very, like I said, simple primary palette except for the black. Alizarin Crimson, 302, Series 3. Okay. And then we have Cadmium Yellow, number 402, Series 4. And I also put down, which I didn't grab when I was over here, French Yellow Ochre, number 133, Series 1. So basically I've got 2 yellows, I have a red, I have a blue, and I have a black. And let me go here real quick, show you these guys again. So this and this are greens made with black and yellow. This one is a brownish color made from blue, red, and yellow. And this is 2 purples, these 2 colors, red and blue. And then some other, this is a yellow and blue. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. This is black and yellow. This one was ultramarine blue and cadmium yellow. So you can see you get very similar, and I wanted these greens to be dark because of the pattern that we're going to be working with. And then these were just some other mixtures of yellow, and I used white to pull a lot of colors out of the area that I was mixing so that I got some mix over into the other mixtures that I have here. So very simple mixtures so far. We're going to try and, it's enough of a challenge to try and keep your values in the same value range without adding a bunch of color and then losing that in the in there. So I'm going to take a little brush. I'm going to go into the black, and what I want to do, I'm not going to start with a value study, but I want to put, that isn't going to work over there. I'm going to need to bring this down. Excuse me a minute. So I went over and got this guy again, and I'm just going to set him down here so that I can look down instead of backing around. First thing that I want to do is figure out where my horizon line is going to be. And that will determine a lot of things, where the rock placements are, if I'm going to have trees or bushes, and it's sticking with the pattern, with that pattern that we've talked about, that I showed you before, this guy here with this much dark in the mid area. I think I am going to go with a backlit, probably a sunset. Like I said, a creek that's coming down through that first almost S composition that's there. So some of that will be rock. So what I want to do is just kind of figure out, okay, where's my horizon line? And you know, you never want to put your horizon line right smack in the center. So and what I'm asking myself at this point is, do I want more creek or do I want more sunlight, sunset color? And I can reflect the sunset color in the creek, so you know, it doesn't really matter. And of course, I always take the longest on this part of the decision making because it's very important. So I'm going to go with just something a little bit higher than center. So that's pretty much my horizon line, and yes, it usually goes all the way across. So I just did that. So not the straightest line in the world, but it gets me there. All right, so now I'm just drawing in the shape of that pattern very lightly because I'm going to come back with palette knives. I'm going to paint this all with palette knives. Like I said, this is just a very light little line so that I can stick to the pattern. Otherwise, if I just use my imagination, it'll look nothing like the pattern that's there. And it may not look anything like the pattern that's there when I'm done either. So it'd be interesting to see where this goes. No, yeah, you can see it a little bit. I'm not even sure that you guys can even see. So this is my S coming down. Again, and I get real quiet. Like I said, this isn't a totally teaching instruction video. This is, you know, you peering over my shoulder while I'm painting. Okay. Alright, so there's that pattern. Just so that you can see, I didn't color them all in, but that's the basic shape of the pattern that is there. Okay? So now what I want to do is I'm going to switch to palette knives. I'm going to switch over to the palette knives and I'm going to start putting in some color. So, and this is going to be kind of a quick word. Oh, there they are. Cover that back up because I don't have my air cleaner on. Okay, there we go. So again, I'm thinking backlit, so the light is coming from behind and shining through, all right? And I'm thinking somewhere around sunset is what I'm looking for. Oh, sorry, forgot to turn my R2 sounds off. So you'll get to hear R2 talk to me every once in a while. It's the other bad habit of using my phone for this instead of using my iPad. And apologize for saying I was going to be on YouTube and then not being on YouTube. I thought I found an app that would let me do that on my iPad that evidently is not ISO 10 compatible. So it's not letting me update anything. And I did the stupid thing of taking off the old Facebook version that I can't get back to now because it won't update to 10 and there is no older version of Facebook that I can latch onto. So right now on that pattern there's a area in here that is lighter in value and I'm going to leave that there, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay there. Again, when you are painting, you are the director and you're telling your stars where they need to stand. So you get to make the decisions, and while I'm letting this pattern kind of tell me what I'm putting where, that doesn't mean that I totally say that that's it and that's all it's going to be. You know, that's why I have to put it there. That is part of the challenge. But if I can't think of a logical reason why that's there, or a technical reason why it has to stay there, it's not going to stay there. So, the other part about you being a director. So right now I'm just putting in a basic dark color, kind of reminiscent of rocks that you would see at the edge of a creek, especially around here. And I'm pulling this all from memory. The only aid I have is my imagination and my memory of things that I have seen out hiking or on the internet, outside in my little neighborhood when we're walking. And the other thing you need to remember about oil paints is that you can always go dark to light, but if you mistakenly make something lighter, you are never going to be able to get it as dark as you want it to be or would like it to be. So always go dark. So we're in our darkest color right now. That we're playing with. That's why I like this straight edge palette knife. So you can see I'm reestablishing that horizontal, my horizon line. Oops. Caught some of that purple when I was coming over here. I don't know if you can hear Tom or not, but we are trying to get a fan put up in on our deck, and not having very good luck, evidently. You can tell I'm not putting on a lot of paint at this point. I'll build up more as I get to it, as I start adding more color. Okay. Just to finish off. This almost feels like Bob Ross because it's just so, I'm just curious as to. So I'm getting the dark color in. I want these to be nice shapes, pleasing to the eye shapes. No squares, no cubes, no rectangles, no spheres. Something that interests the eye. And since I'm only putting in my darkest darks right now, I do want to get those shapes in. So like I said, I'm using my imagination. I'm not looking at anything except that pattern that I showed you earlier, filling in what would be my darkest value. Okay, so just so you can see the pattern again, there's the one I'm working on. off of that pattern and shape. Again, the painting challenge is out on my Patreon site. And there is that dark pattern on the canvas. So, now what am I going to do? Well, we have the shapes established. I always want to continue to work darkest to lightest, but I also like the idea of filling in my canvas at this time. So, another decision I want to make, like I said, was backlit. Like a sunset. So there will be, you know, a lighter value in here of many different colors probably as I work through that. And want to bring the creek in. There'll be some areas over here that'll be, you know, maybe grassy alongside the creek. You know, a lighter color. You know, all that kind of stuff. And then the interesting thing will be working to keep this value in there and as dark as it is, as well as, you know, trying to provide some interest in there. So what I want to establish now in that lighter color is where that creek is going to come through or in the painting, so that I know where that is. I'm going to make my mind up on that right now. So I'm just going to put a basic blue-gray down. Probably a little darker than what I will end up having it, especially when I start putting more lighter colors into that area so that it catches some of the sunlight or sunset colors that I'm going to put down. Again, it's always easier to go lighter. Than it is to try and go darker. So just working with basic color right now and getting shapes in place. I don't know how the weather's been where you guys have been at, but it's been very rainy here. I need to be a little darker. So if you decide to do this challenge, kind of make it fun. And kind of keep asking yourself, what if I did this? What if I did that? What happens if I make this line a little different? Make that shape a little different, etc. Just have fun playing with it. I don't want a lot of hard edges, so I'm just kind of softening some of that transition and adding in some grasses. And you can see somewhat of a color relationship issue here. I'm putting yellow on, and now all of a sudden the rocks don't look so brown. They look more purple, which is fine. Just putting a note there that I might want to put a little bit of a waterfall there. At this point, I'm just putting in shapes of color, filling in the canvas. I'll come back and refine as I go a little bit later on. Mix up a little bit more color here, so I'm going to have to fill in another side over there. Again, just putting in shape of color. What's up? What's up? Yeah, I know. I have to use my phone. I can't use... Otherwise it wouldn't.
Did you maneuver back to get this?
Is the fan up?
Huh?
Is the fan up? The fan downstairs on the patio.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I think it's just you and Dick, so. Mm-hmm. Say hi to Dick Atkins.
Hi, Dick.
I'm assuming he's still there.
Hi, Dick. That's my voice.
He's still there. Okay. You're gonna mess me up. Thank you.
Hey, baby.
They talking to their kitties. Alrighty. Still in the design stage, so still playing with color. Trying to keep that pattern that we started with still in there. So I've been doing this cycling inside with Tom on our new Nordic track, and our legs are very tired today. So I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to stand and paint, but I want to get this sky in. Some sky color in back here. Actually, I'm going to use a bigger. There we go. So at this point, I'm still just thinking, you know, foundation. I'm going to come back in another session and we'll build on this. So I'm not really worried about some of this color crossing over into the other areas, or not all that worried about edges at this point. I was having fun with this too, just throwing in these colors and with a big palette knife and just kind of letting them blend together. Seeing what we get, just playing around, but I'm still sticking to that basic pattern that we started with. And just like with brushes, palette knives, you switch to a smaller knife when you need to, and switch to a smaller brush when you need to, a larger brush when you need to, so no different.
touch of that red in there as well. guess that was a quick application of paint, and again, if you can, using palette knives. It stuck to the pattern pretty well. I added something over here just because I didn't like how you could go right off the thing, and that may change still. That was just a real quick decision. You know, this may change a little bit over here, but that is basically a quick application of just shapes and colors, which is what we wanted to look for while we were doing and talking about patterns. So this was the pattern that we were using on the left there. 75% light, 25% shadow, and that's where we ended up. So, thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed watching me throw some paint around. And I will probably do some sketches from here to figure out what else I want to do, how I want this to look. You know, and at this point, I'll be sticking to the same light and dark pattern, but the shapes will change a little bit. We'll be pulling some things out. So really, this is all the further on these challenges. You need to take something just to see if you can stick to that same pattern, and then, you know, step back, look at it for a while, think about what it is you want to change, how you want something else to look. What color can you use inside these darker areas to pull out something that looks more like a couple tree shapes, you know, and then from that point on it becomes more about, you know, some negative shapes and things like that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. So I don't drop my phone into the paint. So there you go, straight on look right there. So even just looking through the phone, that doesn't look that bad. It's something we can work with. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you later. Bye.
So after I said goodbye and took all the lights down and everything, I had another look at the painting, and just wanted to point out a few things that I changed. So I like this composition a little bit better. I think it's more eye-pleasing, and we have the creek going out further on the right, in the upper right, and then also a much softer line in the left-hand side as well. So there still will be probably some more changes, but wanted to point that out, that I didn't just stop after I said goodbye to you guys. I ended up standing back, looking at it, and making some other decisions, and wanted to show that to you as well. And also, I wanted to take a few minutes to show you the black and white pattern that existed. And as you can see, there are 3 distinct values here. I usually paint between 3 and 4 values, so I'm going to try my best to hold this to 3 values. I may even, since I can still go lighter with this creek or the stream, I may even take that lighter, in which case I'll be down to the 2 values that we talked about. But you can see how the pattern that we started out with is very much still in place. So if you want to try this value pattern painting challenge, you can go out to patreon.com and /Linda Riesenberg Fisler, and that is my page. And then you can see the painting challenge is part of the posts on that page, and you can look at the 2 patterns are in an image file that you can download and use. got in a conversation with an old friend of mine, Jamie Markle, and Jamie likes the spontaneity of this. He posted on Facebook, and I said, yeah, it really does show you how strong a value pattern is and how important it is to your painting. So it was a nice validation to have Jamie say that. So thank you, Jamie Markle. And I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you guys. I just wanted to include these last two pics for you so that you could see the actual value pattern that we stuck very close to, and also the couple changes that I made. So have fun, everybody. Stay healthy, be smart, and be safe. So we will talk to you soon. Bye.